Hi, this is video game genre interests and personality types. What do I need first and done? Alright, so to start our literature review, a major thing is the Myers-Briggs type indicator. The Myers-Briggs indicator, as described by Adrian Furnham, is an inventory that is used to separate people into 8 different factors in 4 different dimensions. Those are introversion versus extroversion, sensation versus intuition, thinking versus feeling, and judging versus perceiving. Each of these, described as Myers in the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator Manual, 3rd edition, is introversion and extroversion. Introverted people were more likely to draw energy from the environment toward inner experience and reflection, while sensing and intuition were described as sensing, being aware of things, people, and events or ideas, including gathering of information, seeking of sensation and inspiration, as well as the selection of various stimuli. Thinking and feeling are 2 kinds of judgments that include all the ways of coming to conclusions and making decisions about what has been perceived, and includes evaluating, choosing, decision-making, and selecting responses after perceiving stimuli. Thinking was seen as relying on the principle of cause and effect, objective and impersonal, while when applied to reason, the reason for a decision. And judging and perceiving was based on the observation that some people habitually use judgment, thinking, or feeling when interacting with the outside world, while others prefer perception, sensing, or intuition by continuing to gather information as long as possible before reaching closure. We also need to understand video game genre, or another thing to understand is video game genres. Video game genres are, according to Apperly in the 2006 paper, Genre and Game Studies Towards a Critical Approach to Video Game Genres, describe most video game genres as being ludologist, in that they are defined not by the themes and topics of the story, but how people the mechanism in which people play the games. So this would be your first-person games, third-person games, shooters, platformers, puzzle games. That generalization of genres as things you do in it, how you interact with it, rather than the actual themes of a story, is how genres are in video games are generally talked about. However, genres are, since it is based on how you play, not the story, there is almost endless fractionalization that can happen. So many studies divide genres into subgenres and supergenres. One example of this is Zamato's 2010 paper, Gamers' Personality and Their Gaming Preferences, putting action no shooting, action shooting, and action fighting in the supergenre of action. So my gap in my research is that while research on this topic has happened previously, specifically in Borders, a study by Borders in 2012, it has happened on college students, but not high school students. While students' brains people's brains are still developing in high school, definitely, it would be helpful to look into if there's any correlation between video game genres and personality types. So my research question is, how How, if at all, does someone's personality affect their choice of video game genres? So my methodology is taken a lot from my mentor study, Borders 2012, a relationship between personality and video game preferences. It has a three-item demographic sheet, a 52-item gaming preferences sheet, 50 items Myers-Briggs type indicator, and an 8-item gaming patterns sheet. So to go into the results, my population, I got about 97 responses that were able to be used, and of that, a majority of the ethnicity is white or Caucasian. If you break it down by high school year, I unfortunately got 0 freshman respondents, which isn't great. And due to the population I sampled, all of the respondents are male. So, again, looking at this, as part of the gaming patterns test or sheet, the respondents were asked to list their 3 favorite video games, which I then used video game reviewer IGN to get the genre of video game from. I then organized them into first, second, and third choices, much like Borders did in their original study. What is interesting about this is while not a majority, a plurality of 47 to 32%, shooters were the most popular genre among the population. And another thing is my actual correlations to personality traits. I correlated each choice, either first, second, or third, to each of the types indicated by genre. What I found is there were no strong correlations between any genre or personality type. The most positive correlation I got was a 3.7 with action adventures games listed second, being correlated to being intuitive, and the most negative was a negative 0.295 with RPGs being chosen third to assertive personality types. This shows that really there is no correlation that I could find between the personality types of said listed favorite games. So some limitations of this study. I am a statistical software novice. I used the R software, statistical analysis software, to do this, and I am not sure that I did it correctly. So if I had more experience using R, I would be able to get much cleaner data and much more data out of what I have. Also, as my population was all male, I'm missing 50% of the population of all Americans, which would be a very interesting place to look for new data. And then also the non-existent freshman participation, not getting their perspective as the youngest does hurt my study a bit, because there is nothing I can tell about them. So it would be a good area to look into. Thank you.
Do you have a bibliography slide yet?
No, I do not.
Okay, that's something you definitely want to